Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. I am Coach Jay, also known as Juaitan Robinson, and I am a spiritual life purpose and women's empowerment partner, which in simple terms means that I am a life coach with a focus on women, their pain, their purpose, and their power. So I wanted to talk about something today that I tried to do on my IG Live yesterday. And I've got to admit, I am not an expert at IG Live or IG in itself, Instagram in itself. Um, I don't have the time that it would take for me to sit and deal with the who's its and what's its and the gadgets and the gadgets of Instagram and all of the things that they're doing and changing. And I just don't have the time for it. So I tried to do this yesterday, unsuccessfully so. So I decided that the best thing for me to do, I had two choices. I could either go live and do it live, or I could record this video and then post it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record the video because I want to do some extra stuff with it. But I wanted to talk about this thing called feeling human. Feeling human. And before I get into the topic, I wanted to do a quick commercial. Some of you may know that I not only am a life coach, but I am a writing coach. And the group that I led with the Pop Writers Guild back in 2015, their book is finally complete. And that book is entitled Life Took a Turn. And it is a collection of poetry, short stories, and there's an art gallery in the back. We're talking almost 300 pages of heartfelt, hard work. 97% of this book is true to life. And I say 97% because when we sat down and came up with each of these topics every week that we came up with these topics, and I wanted the people to come up with stories around the topic. And they had the option of going fictional or non-fictional. And most times, they went non-fictional. They went true to life, talking about their life experiences. And I am so very glad that they did that, because you've got a little bit of everything in this book. You've got social injustice, you've got love, you've got living an alternative lifestyle and being accepted. You've got dreams that you accomplished and dreams that you want to accomplish that you haven't yet. We got a little bit of everything in this book. And I say 97% of the book is true to life because there is a chapter dedicated to fiction. However, there is one story in that chapter that I believe within me, I believe is a true to life thing. And that chapter is entitled The Chair. But the book is amazing. And I'm not just saying it because I led the group. I'm saying it because these people really, really worked hard to make this book happen. We ended up waiting 5 years to get it published, totally, completely published and ready for the public. So go to my website, juaitanrobinson.com. The book is $25. Life Took a Turn. Poetry and short stories published by the Pop Writers Guild. Poetry, short stories, and an art gallery in the back. $25. I consider it a coffee table book because it is one of those things that you want people to see. It's not just your regular book. It is, again, poetry, short stories, and an art gallery in the back. This is something that is going to sit out on your table. It's not going to be put away with your other books and forgotten. It will sit out and remind you of the stories of overcoming, and the stories of heartache, and the stories of dreams accomplished, and the stories of just anything and everything that you wanted to read is in this book. So that's my commercial for now. But let's talk about feeling human. Feeling human came up because I was really very emotional yesterday. As I was saying in my video, you're going to hear some stuff in the background. That's just my life. So I apologize for those who may be annoyed by the fact that there's noise going on in the background, but this is real life, and I don't try to censor too much of anything when I do these videos. So I will apologize to you for the noise in the background, but the bottom line is it's real life. So as I was saying, I was feeling really emotional yesterday. And it started the night before, where I literally cried myself to sleep. And I didn't know where it was all coming from. The only thing that I could surmise was the fact that I just needed to release. I just needed to get that out, get those feelings out, get the thoughts out, just needed to get it out. That my body was tired, my mind was tired, and I needed to feel these emotions and in that moment, whenever that moment was. So not only did I cry myself to sleep the night before, but I was in a 2.5-hour meeting that yesterday morning and ended up crying during that meeting. And then I went and I took a lunch break. And on my way to my destination during my lunch break, I was beginning to well up again. Just the feeling, just the emotion. And I didn't know why, other than the fact that I just needed to feel it. But then as I began to analyze this thing, I looked at it and I thought about how I'm considered the strong one, how I'm considered the reliable, how I'm considered the one that everyone can turn to. And that is who I am. But I think that when those people lean on me, when they turn to me, when they confess to me the things that need to be confessed, that they feel need to be confessed, or confide in me, the things that they believe need to be confided, or come to me for advice or input, I think a lot of times people forget that I'm human too, and that I, from time to time, have to express my feelings. I, from time to time, have to rest, take a step back, and not be so accessible to everyone. And the other part of that is I think that people don't seem to appreciate me as a human. They look at me as an advisor. They look at me as a help. They look at me as someone who will get the job done. They don't appreciate me for being a human who has her own things to deal with. And no one's going to appreciate you the way that you deserve to be appreciated. No one ever is. They're going to attempt to, but they're never going to really, I won't say never. They will rarely live up to the appreciation that you do actually deserve. They will try. And you can appreciate that they tried. But I think a lot of times people don't appreciate you for who you are as a human. They appreciate you for who you are as a resource, as someone that can help them, as someone that can guide them, as someone that can do something for them, as someone that can be a benefit to them, but not so much as a human. So I was thinking about that and realizing that that probably is the root of why I was so emotional yesterday, because I was feeling underappreciated on several fronts, feeling underappreciated. And I had to ask myself why I felt that way. I had to examine why I felt that way, because they can't treat you, people cannot treat you in any other way than what you allow them to do, to treat you. You give them permission to treat you a certain way. So if they are treating you in a disrespectful way, you allowed it. And this is what I mean by allow it. You have given them the permission to do it. You have given them the idea that it's okay to be disrespectful towards you, because when they were disrespectful towards you at the very beginning, you didn't stop it. Or you attempted to stop it, but then you didn't follow up what you said with actual actions. So they believe that they can treat you however they choose to because you've allowed it in the past. So I had to look at why am I feeling unappreciated? Why? What role do I play in feeling the way I feel? Why would anyone believe that it's okay to treat me less than the way that I deserve to be treated. In everything that happens to us, I won't say everything because that's so definitive. In most things that happen to us, we have to examine self. What role did we play in that? Do we find ourselves worthy to be treated with respect? Do we find ourselves worthy to be loved? Do we find ourselves worthy to be appreciated? A lot of that, a lot of the ways that we are treated comes from the fact that we don't find ourselves worthy to be treated any better than what we are. So I was looking at that, examining myself, and looking at the role that I played in feeling unappreciated, and asking myself why I allowed it. Did I feel worthy to be appreciated? And I answered all of those questions, and the conclusion that I came to was, yes, I do feel worthy of being better treated. I do feel worthy of better love and better appreciation and respect. I absolutely feel worthy. So what I have to do is not allow that thing that made me feel less than to happen again. I have to do that. But at the same time, I have to remember that I am still human, and it's okay for me to feel vulnerable. It's okay for me to feel the feelings that I feel. So even though I, in that moment, had to look at the role that I played in it and why I allowed certain things to happen, I also had to look at, but even in that, it's okay for me to be vulnerable and not be taken advantage of, and not be disrespected. Just because I'm in a weak moment doesn't mean that you can treat me any less. Doesn't mean that you can take advantage of that moment. My thinking may not be as clear because I am in a vulnerable moment, but that doesn't mean that you get to take advantage of that. So I have to remind myself that it's okay to feel the feelings and be vulnerable, be emotional, but not allow myself to be in my vulnerability and in my emotions taken advantage of or treated less than. And that's what was happening with me. That's what was happening with me. So I'm saying that to you. It's all right to be vulnerable. It's all right to feel the feelings. It's because you are human. You have emotions. You have feelings. There are things that are going on with you that you may not be able to share with someone else or be willing to share with someone else. And it's all coming down on you. And you've got people coming at you left and right, and you're trying to figure out how can you help them as well as deal with what you're going through. Understand that that's okay. And if you want to take a step back, then do that. If you want to say no, then stand on that no. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't be double-minded about it. If the answer is no, stick with the no, take a step back and rest. Be who it is that you need to be in that moment. Feel what it is that you need to feel in that moment. It's okay. In some cases, you may feel like, there's a lot of stuff happening and you don't know where to go, what to do. Why is it happening to you? What's going on? Know that everything has a process, the good and the bad. And sometimes you have to go through that process in order to get to the other side of it. That's the whole point to the word through for me. It means that there is an end. The other side of that going through, there is something better for me. So yes, the struggle in the moment is hard. Whether it is loss of a loved one, loss of a job, whether it is a deal falling through, whether it is funds that you were looking for or expecting did not come through, whether it is a divorce, whether it is an illness, whatever it is, there's a process to that thing. So you get the diagnosis And then you go through the treatment and then you get the healing. There's a process. You lose the job not knowing that on the other side of that is something better. So you lose the job, you go through the process, you feel the feelings, you're unsure about what's what, and then you get to the other end of that. You're starting to feel better and things are starting to look better and people are asking for you to do certain things for them. That's generating an income, and you get to the other side and guess what? Now you're an entrepreneur. You had to go through the process. And being an entrepreneur is something that you probably were already supposed to be, but you refused to do it on your own. And God had to force you to do it by you losing your job, going through the process, and now you're an entrepreneur. Sometimes it works that way, believe it or not. Sometimes it works that way. I know I'm talking to somebody who fully understands that. There is a process. I was listening to Fantasia yesterday. Like I said, I was in my emotions. So I started listening to not so much heavy music, but music that actually really spoke to me, spoke to my spirit. And the first song that I listened to was Fantasia's Necessary. And I started thinking about that, like everything that I have gone through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything I've gone through, especially the bad, served a purpose in my life. But I had to go through that process in order to get to the other side of it. And I'm grateful for those things. I'm grateful for each and every one of them. Yes, in the moment, they were the most horrific things I'd ever experienced at that point in my life. But I'm grateful now that I went through them because they equipped me to do the things that I'm doing now. They equipped me to be able to talk to people and let them know that I understand where you are because I've been there. I'm not just some stiff PhD professional telling you what you need to do with your life. No. I am a real person, a human who has felt what I have felt, all of the emotions from one end to the other, and been through some things, gone through the process, and I can help you because I've been through it. That's what one of the things that makes me unique is because I have experienced, if not all of the things that I help women with, most of the things that I help women with. I've been through all of them. I've been through molestation and rape. I've been through divorce. I've been through depression. I've been through being a single parent. I've been through losing a job and being homeless. I've been through not knowing what my purpose is. I have experienced a lot of pain and didn't know what it was for until God gave me my daughter's mentor. And then I was like, you know what, Lord, that's it. That's exactly what all of this was for. Thank you for giving me the answer to the question of why. That's what makes me unique. I have been through what I am helping you with. And I appreciate everything that I've gone through that gets me to this point. One of the ways that I was able to get through all of those hard times was prayer. I had to pray through that process. I had to, because I felt as if I did not pray, if I did not have a higher power to look to, if I did not have someone who has all of the answers, if I could not turn to God in any of the things that I went through, I would not have survived them. So I'm so very glad that God was there for me, and that I could rely on him. And I knew, even though I was going through something so painful, almost unbelievable, I knew that he knew what was on the other side of it, and I was grateful for that. All I had to do was get through it, get through the process. So I prayed through the process. I prayed through, and he held me up, and here I am on the other side of it. So I encourage you, feel what you feel. Be human. Be human. Feel what it is that you feel. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. Allow yourself to Cry when you need to. Allow yourself the grace to be whatever it is that you need to be in that moment. Sad, happy, emotional, crying, laughing, whatever it is that you need to do to release those things, allow it to happen. Allow it to happen. I think sometimes people underestimate you. If you don't, it's okay. He's all right. He's okay. He has these coughing fits every once in a while. But I think a lot of people underestimate you if they don't see the human side of you, because they don't get to see that you have feelings, that you have experiences and issues and problems and processes that you have to go through. They underestimate your ability to help them in some cases. Yeah, there are people that will take advantage of the fact that you are the reliable one, the strong one, the knowledgeable one. Yes, but then there are some people that will underestimate you because you don't show them that you're human. So show that you're human. Feel your feelings. Be who you are, and be vulnerable if that's what it means. For you, be vulnerable. Show a little weakness. You're not a robot. You are human. So feel what you feel. Show your emotions. You are worthy of the space and the time and the respect that you deserve, in order to. You're worthy of those things. It's not even in order to. You're worthy of it. Go through the process. Like I said, be vulnerable. Go through the process, because on the other end of it, there's some beautiful stuff. And don't allow people to underestimate you based on you putting up this front of, I can soldier through this. No. Show them your humanness. That doesn't mean that you have to be boisterous or the life of the party every time, or a brick wall that stands strong in every situation. Show them your humanness. Don't let them underestimate you. So I'm going to end this here because I've got another video to do entitled Comparison Complex. So I'll see you in that video in just a little bit. Peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you. And again, go to JuaitanRobinson.com and pick up Life Took a Turn for $25. Great book. Not just saying it because I led the group, but because there's some really awesome stuff in this book. All right, I'm out.